Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton, and today we are continuing with our talk of the Byrds in conjunction with my first ever VC contest. And you can go to the first video in this series, or you can just check out my main channel. There's a video on there where I give all the details. Hopefully you're subscribed to both, and maybe you follow both channels, but if not, anyway, there it is. Today we're going to talk about a former Byrd and one of my favorites, Mr. Gene Parsons. And this is his first album. Now, on a previous edition of Daily Records, you've got to go back a few months. You can see I talk about his other album, Melodies. This is his first album. He only did 2 albums under his own name. This one's called Kindling. And Kindling, as I say Kindling because I'm from the South, this was released in 1973 on Warner Brothers Records. This was the album that he did right after the Byrds broke up officially. Now, he became a Byrd right after a Sweetheart of the Rodeo. And so he's in that latter incarnation of the Byrds. Now, for those of you that don't know, this guy was multi-talented. He was a drummer with the Byrds, but he also was a banjo player, guitarist, singer-songwriter, and even a recording engineer. He joined the Byrds, like I said, in 1968. He was with them all the way until 1972. He also played with Nashville West. He was in the Flying Burrito Brothers, post Graham Parsons. By the way, he is not related to Graham Parsons, but there were 2 Parsons, country-influenced Parsons in the Byrds. But the big thing that he's known for is that he invented the B-bender, string bender, with guitarist Clarence White. Now, Clarence White was an extremely gifted guitar picker. If you're not familiar with Clarence's work, you gotta check it out. But he could play like, you know, he can make his Telecaster sound like a pedal steel, just the way he played and bended the notes. But he and Gene Parsons invented this contraption that kind of goes on the strap of the guitar, and you could pull down, and it's like a little spring, and it bends the B string. And so it is trademarked, and he still makes them to this day. You can order, you can have a B-bender installed on your guitar. He's from California, but he came to the Byrds, he replaced Kevin Kelly on drums, who played on, the Sweetheart of the Rodeo album. And he was with them for 4 years. He contributed one of my favorite Byrd songs on Ballad of Easy Rider, Gunga Din. But he played on Dr. Byrd's and Mr. Hyde, Ballad of Easy Rider, Untitled, Byrd Maniacs, and Farther Along. Now, this album, Kindling, was released, like I said, in 1973, and it got very, very positive reviews. Rolling Stone, for example, for whatever that's worth, gave it a very good review. But it did not reach the top of the charts. And right after this album, it did earn him a stint with the Flying Burrito Brothers, along with Chris Hillman and Michael Clark, who also was a drummer with the Byrds. And, you know, there's several, you know, the thing about the Byrds, there's a lot of, with all the different incarnations, you know, these guys all crossed paths. Chris Etheridge, Skip Batten, but he played quite a bit on the albums Flying Again and Airborne, Sweet Desert Childhood, Out of Control. And then after he left the Flying Burrito Brothers, he did the second album. Go back and see that, called Melodies, and it featured one of my favorite post-Byrd songs, Melodies. It was a tribute to Clarence White. And then he later toured in some of the other Byrds incarnations. It's a country rock sound. It's very much in line with the stuff he was doing with the Byrds. Gene has a very sweet vocal. You know, he doesn't have that sort of hillbilly, fake country inflection. But the songs are nice. They're easygoing and full of just rich harmonies. You could think along the lines of Flying Burrito Brothers or Eagles. Really slick sounding, though. I think Gene, being an engineer himself, was interested in production and the quality of what was being recorded. But I realized, kind of talking about this album, I didn't go into a lot of detail as far as the songs. I said it was a country rock sound, so I wanted to jump in and throw it in. But You know, the album, like I said, Gene did most of the singing and playing on there, but talking about Clarence White. Clarence White was still alive when this album was recorded. He played on it on quite a few songs, mandolin and guitar. Also featured some guys like Ralph Stanley singing. So some sort of classic bluegrass type material, but you know, some heavy hitters. But like I said, the songs are definitely on an even keel. They follow through, and produced by Russ Titleman and engineered by Lee Hirschberg. So the album has all the credentials to be just a really, really nice sounding album. But this is his first album, probably his better album than Melodies, but I love Melodies for what it is. But this is the first one, Kindling by Gene Parsons. Continuing with our Birds Talk. Like, comment, subscribe, share down below. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's TommyBurton75. I love interacting with you guys. In the meantime, I'll see you all again tomorrow with another Daily Record.